Well, hello, guys. Welcome to a fun pop up live sale with me and Patrick, Trusty Huckster Mercantile. Welcome, Patrick. We're glad to have you on the sale tonight.
Great to be here, Katie. Once again, I'm traveling, so I appreciate you letting me squeeze into your channel tonight. Since I won't have a sale of my own tomorrow night, this is the one I'm going to be doing this week.
Well, that is so fun, Patrick. I'm glad to be a part of this. This is going to be a really great sale. And tomorrow I'll be doing something fun in place of your sale so people can come over and hang out on my channel. So that will be fun.
Excellent.
So we've got a couple of people in the chat. We'll say hello, and then I'll jump into the rules of the live sale. And I realized now that I just forgot to turn off my dryer, so we may hear some singing soon in the background when my laundry is done.
It happens.
We got Peterson tuning in tonight, so thanks, Peterson, for joining. Vinny, he messaged me earlier. He was very excited about the sale, so welcome, Vinny. Glad you're here. We have Claudia K. Vintage in the chat. Welcome, Claudia. Claudia just posted a great video of her uranium collection she did in the collaboration for Halloween that she did. We both did with Catherine Young, so that was very, very cool. So check out her uranium glass. It's fabulous. We got Julie, AJ's Retro and Vintage, tuning in all the way from Canada. Welcome, Julie. Another Canadian in the house. Tim is here. Welcome, Tim. Thanks for joining. We have my flea market treasures. You're Marianne, right? Did I get that correct?
No, Flea Market Treasures is Jerry.
Jerry. Oh, I'll get everybody's name eventually. There's still a few I'm learning. So welcome, Jerry. We got Carrie, KCATX, coming in. And we can see you, Carrie. I don't know what was happening yesterday, but there's been some weird things with people not showing up in chat. So
yeah, and I didn't have a chance today. I was working today, so I didn't have a chance to. I guess I can check something on my end to see if it got flagged. So I don't know what happened last night.
We got Fluffy Otter tuning in. Best name ever.
Absolutely.
Nate is in the chat. Nate is our master moderator tonight. So everything Nate says will go. Nate is going to call the sale, so look out for his comments tonight in the chat. So he'll let you know who is winning each item in the chat, and then we will announce it live. He is a rock star, so thanks, Nate, for your help. Sam Doyen is tuning in. Welcome, Sam. We have the chat jumped again, as it always does. Nate is so helpful. He always puts in some great information here. So that is Patrick's email and my email. If you are successful with a purchase this evening, do make sure, as Nate's highlighting here, that you send us your channel name, your real name, your postal address, and your PayPal email, because that really, really will help get us an invoice out to you so that we can get your items, which is very fun. Melody's tuning in tonight. Welcome, Melody. We have Chad, Retro Days, and Melinda's wishing you a late happy birthday.
Thanks, Melinda.
Yes, it was Patrick's birthday yesterday for all of you guys that missed that. And there was a fun challenge, Trusty's birthday party. So if you missed that, go check out the playlist. It's live on Patrick's channel, which is very fun. Lots of great videos submitted. Got to see them all during the live watch party last night, which was a blast.
Yeah, it seemed like people enjoyed that. I didn't realize how long it would go because I didn't know how many people would participate. But we were on the live watch party. It was over 3 hours long. So I think we had 14 videos submitted.
It was great, Patrick. I love that concept. So I think I might have to do something with that at some point too. I just think that's fun. Beth is tuning in. We've got Delbert, proud American. He's the one that made the 50s hot dog soup. And Delbert, I do hope that turned out okay, because that was quite an interesting recipe.
Yeah, very 50s.
Yeah, very 50s. Pat Robinson is here. Welcome, Pat. Halem Nassif is in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Sherry Edwards is here. And if I missed anybody else, I am so very sorry, but the chat always jumps. So welcome to everyone tuning in tonight. As I mentioned, if you do win something, we do need that information from you. And you can email the seller that you purchased from. Patrick and I are shipping from different states, so we cannot combine shipping, even though we are in the same sale. I'm shipping from Florida, Patrick from Illinois. So that is different. So just make sure you each send us an email if you do buy something from both of us. So that is very helpful. This is going to be a straight claim sale. So the first person to type in the number will get the item, and what Nate says in the chat goes. So Nate's going to be calling that tonight. There are no offer ups, just in cases, or auctions on this channel for this evening. So again, straight price, first person to claim the item will get it. Make sure that you are refreshing often during the sale. That will give you the best fighting chance to get an item that you want. And to be in live chat, not top chat, so that you see all the comments. And if you go on your phone, if you're watching on a phone and just hit that live top chat button, it will automatically refresh for you. If you're having some serious lag problems, you can always go into the settings and move your settings to a faster playback speed. So 1.5 usually will jump you live if you are having those serious lag problems. But refreshing often usually will help you stay up to date with the feed, which is fantastic. So that's kind of how the sale works. It's like every other YouTube sale that's live here. And we're going to go ahead and jump in. We got 41 people here. Welcome to everyone that's just coming in. I see Edward. We've got Kara, Kitschy Corner, Rebecca Higgins. Thanks so much for tuning in. And if I missed you, I'm so sorry. Chat always jumps and it goes by very, very fast. Oh, and there's Maria. So lots of folks tuning in. So Patrick, would you like to kick us off with your first item?
I would be happy to. So I will also do a quick jump. I'm not sure if we said hi to Kara from Kitschy Corner, but she had a comment in the chat and just wanted to highlight that regarding a surprise to see us tonight. It is worth noting that it's been relatively recently, last month, we started doing these duo dives, and we do have people scheduled. We ended up, Katie was kind enough to agree to change our weekly duo dive. So we would have been together tonight regardless, but we would have had a guest, and we turned this duo dive into a sale because I will not be having my sale tomorrow night. So as Katie mentioned, and I apologize while the town seems to be on fire, as Katie's going to do something special on her channel tomorrow night, I will literally be driving during the time of the sale. So if I can maybe hop in from the car, it'll be audio only because I won't be able to stop. But she'll do something. So it was great that we could do a sale. And I do apologize for the ones that were in the sale last week. I've been traveling so much. I got a couple things shipped out in the short time I was home over the weekend, but I didn't get everything out. So I do apologize that people didn't get invoices. This is a short sale because I just need to not be overwhelmed on shipping out. I do apologize and appreciate everyone's patience, and I will try and get things out in the short time that I'm home this weekend before I head out again. If not, we'll see what happens. So anyway, as we alluded to, yesterday was my birthday, and I did a special event for Trusty's birthday party and asked people to go through vintage recipes and create them for YouTube or for Instagram. And the first lot that I have is a set of vintage recipe books. I had come across a bunch of cookbooks probably about a month or two ago, which gave me the idea that, we always come across these and then you just, unless you want to display them or just, own them because it's cool, I'm like, wait, there's some cool recipes in here. And if you haven't checked out some of the videos, several people in the chat tonight did videos, and they're all available in the playlist. Go check out their videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't subscribe to them, it'd be great to subscribe to them. But I did showcase some of these. I'm going to pull up some of the books that I have. So this one is actually, I don't know, Katie, if you've ever come across this, the Guardian cookware. I don't see it often, but it's a very distinct, very heavy aluminum grade cookware. Well, they made a cookbook specifically for doing stuff in the cookware. Now, you don't have to have the cookware, but they do reference some different things, like they had a pressure cooker that you might want, but some scrambled eggs, pineapple upside down cake. This one's actually a pretty decent thickness, and there are color photographs throughout. So this is actually kind of a nice one. This was from the 50s. This one was from, actually, we'll take that back. This was from the 30s. This lot of cookbooks that I have are all from the 30s, I believe. Now, of course, I got to remember why I picked this one. Anyway, we got the Guardian one, the Better Buymanship, the #1 issue, Poultry, Eggs, and Fish. This is a black and white one from 1939. And so this was this has some recipes in it, but it's actually more like a household management book talking about what to keep in mind as you're shopping for your food. And then the last one, and several people showcased cookbooks like this on the.
I love those.
these like brand name ones that were tied to your refrigerator. So this one is the Frigidaire recipe. This one is also from the 30s. The most recent copyright on it was 1939. And this one is also does have some photographs going through it. These are all black and white. This one doesn't have any color photographs. But it goes through. I don't remember if there was a Jello section for Katie. But there is how to utilize unused vegetables, how to utilize unused meat, fowl, and fish, how to use Frigidaire cold control in making frozen desserts and salads. So it's like a lot of this stuff. I always wonder if this was like a gift with your purchase. So you bought a Frigidaire, so this is how you know how to make the best use of it. Or was this a promotional piece that you would get like, oh, you should get a Frigidaire because there's all these cool things you could do. So it's a lot of 3 cookbooks, and just check out the graphics on the back of the Guardian one. Check those out.
These are so cool.
They're cool for their cookbooks, but in some cases, they're not super valuable. That I could see these going into junk journals, something like those, because there just ends up being some fun graphics on all of them. And I pulled this one. I thought it's because I had a copyright on it, and I lost my the notebook that I had with it. I can't find.
Melanie said that book would have come with the refrigerator.
Oh, it would have come with the refrigerator. Okay, that's good to know. So, because they're around. I mean, there's a Frigidaire one. I think somebody had, and then somebody had one for their mixer. I think they had an Osterizer one.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought this was from the 30s, but of course, under pressure, I can't find the time, the date on it. So it may be later because there is a lot of color illustrations. But, so you've got little things like that. So anyway, they're a set of 3 cookbooks, and the set of 3 is $5. So $5 for the lot of cookbooks for giving me number 70. $5, number 70 for all 3 of the vintage cookbooks.
What a great lot there, Patrick. I love those vintage cookbooks because the graphics are to die for, and it's fun being able to make some of those recipes. Just fantastic. Now, the first item I've got up for you guys tonight is really fun. Now, I love these glass flower frogs. I just sort of have an affinity for them because I think there's so many uses for them besides flowers. So tonight I have a lot of 2 glass flower frogs. Now, the first one is black, and it is perfect for your Halloween displays. Now, this is not black amethyst glass. If you hold it up to the light, it is just solid black plain glass. But that doesn't make it any less cool because this is just so fantastic. It has a little bit of wear in the holes here, but not much. This is in really good shape for its age. And it's just fantastic. What I like to do with these is put pins in them. This is perfect for Halloween, your purple and black, or you could do little marbles. I mean, the really options with these are endless. So you'll be getting the black one, but you're also going to get a clear one. Now, this clear one is extra special because it has a patent date of 1916. And yes, they did have flower frogs all the way back then. I did some research, and it turns out that some of these really are from that time, 1916. Now, this has what I appear to believe is probably some sort of a straw mark in the glass. It is not a crack because it's not on the outside. This is totally smooth. It's on the inside. So that's what I think it is. It's nothing that's going to affect the structure of the flower frog or, make it break over time. I don't believe it's in there, but you can see that little bit of a mark there. There's also a little bit of wear, and that kind of happens with these around the holes up at the top. But both of these overall are in fabulous shape. This one I really believe is from 1916. And this one, I don't know its age. It doesn't have a patent mark, but it's definitely vintage. And I love, love, love the little feet on these. I just think they're so cool. Look at the little triangle feet. This one has it too. They're just awesome. So you can put these side by side with uranium marbles in it, your pens, whatever you want to do. These are just great for displays. So I love the glass flower frogs. You are going to get the pair of them for only $16. That's right, $16 for the pair of glass flower frogs by giving me number 1. $16, number 1 for the pair of black and clear flower frogs.
Excellent. That black one's beautiful. And if you remember last week, we did a duo dive with Cindy from Mimi's Treasure Cottage, and she showed her cupcake toppers, and she had the Halloween collection. That looked
Yes.
awesome in the black one. Yeah, those little orange ones sticking out, those would be great.
Oh, it sure would.
So my last item, the set of cookbooks, went to My Flea Market Treasures. That was number 70. So thank you, Jerry, for picking that up. And if I remember correctly, you were one of the people I didn't get shipped out last week. So I can tuck it in the box. It'll save you the postage. My next item is, if you're familiar with my channel, I do mystery boxes that always include a maxi pad. And yes, I'm holding it upright this time. So once again, Peterson's infamous mint inbox maxi pads. You will always get one maxi pad in it. I'm only doing one mystery box because they take me longer to build up. So I don't want to, again, overextend myself for getting things out the door. So this is a $15 mystery box. It will be custom packed based on where I'm shipping to. So I am shipping out of Chicago. I will try and keep the shipping somewhere around $10. So that it doesn't get out of control. So if I'm shipping it farther, it'll be a lighter box, but it will still have between $25 and $30 worth of merchandise inside of it. So the box is $15. We do them a little bit differently, or I do the boxes a little bit differently. I'm not going to tell you the number. You have to guess the number, and Nate knows what it is. So I'm going to give you the range, and the first person that gives the number, I'm only doing one. So the first person that comes up the right number will be the person that claims this week's mystery box. The number falls between 50 and 60. So between 50 and 60 is the mystery box. There's only one. So the first person to come up with the right box. So Carrie's saying I should do a mystery box and only put the pads in there. I'm not sure that would be particularly appreciated. I'm not sure, Kim. No one's taken a picture. I've never even opened the box to see the maxi pad, so I have no idea.
I haven't either, because I like that they're mint in box.
Absolutely. I feel like it would damage its value.
And my maxi pads are actually here. Patrick sent me this contractor's box, this metal contractor's box with different first aid items, and I have put the 2 maxi pads in there, so that's fun.
And I do see the number, so we're just waiting for Nate to announce it. Yep, the number was 56. And once again, My Flea Market Treasures, she gets my second item of the evening. So congratulations, Jerry, for picking up another mystery box.
Congrats, Jerry. Great job. And Jan saying, I'd be willing to bet that Patrick is the only person in the world who travels for business with maxi pads in his luggage.
Well, probably, yeah, the only man that travels with vintage maxi pads. I feel like a lot of people travel with maxi pads, but not many vintage and probably not too many guys. Although somebody said that's why they're in the first aid box. They would be great if I chopped off my leg. I'd have a way to cut off the blood right there.
All right. Well, my last item went to dear Angela's Vintage. So congratulations, Angela, for picking up those flower frogs. Now, the next item I have is a classic item, but it's just a lot of fun for Halloween. And I was so glad to find one of these for you guys. This is the No Moth tin. Now, this is so cool because these are really great in a Halloween vignette display because you can do so many things with them, stack things on top of them, and put them, anywhere you want in your house. They're just really, really fun. So these are No Moth containers. Now, these would have had a little hook. The hook is missing from this one that you would hang up in your closet. This would have had mothballs in it. And then, of course, it kills the moths. But people really like these for Halloween. I don't think it matters that it doesn't have the little hanger because most people like to put these, in a little vignette with things on top. This one is actually dated 1950. Now, there are several different versions of these tins, and this one is the one from the 50s. It does not have the wider rings around the word reefer galler here, which would make that 30s or 40s. So this one's kind of fun because you don't see the 50s ones a lot. Actually, I see the older ones more here anyway. And I really like this little scallop design around the outside of the graphics. Here, I just think that's cool. Now, there is some wear, as you can see, to the top here, just a little bit on the edge. But we're all for the rusty, crusty, and dusty, and this is just a lot of fun. So this moth tin for Halloween is perfect, and it is only going to be $18 for the No Moth tin from the 50s, and it is going to be number 8. $18 for the No Moth tin from the 50s with some great black and orange graphics.
All right. One of the things I like to have when I am on Katie's channel is records. And so I was really quickly trying to do my crash course on the copyrights on these, figure out the age. So I do have two small single, so they're not necessarily 45s, but they're the, to the layman, I would have always thought these were always 45s because they're the small size. But this is, I think, the first time I've had one of these, and I don't remember Katie talking about these. So it's a White Christmas by Cricket Records, a great graphic on here. But look at the corner; it's a 78.
That's fun.
I didn't know they did this size in a 78. She had shown that you could do these in a 33, and so that was like news to me. And this one kind of like rocked my world. So this is the Cricket record. There's some great graphics on there. I think this is just their regular label. And unfortunately, it looks like it was put on in a rush because it's not centered under the Cricket record hole. But you've got White Christmas on one side and Christmas Carol medley on the other. Now, it is not the Bing Crosby White Christmas. It is White Christmas and Joy to the World, sung by Ellen Jane Carroll and the Cricketones. So this is a Child Life Seal of Selection record. As with all of my records, I don't even own a turntable. I cannot tell whether it plays. There were a couple light scratches, surface scratches on this. I think it would be playable, but I bought it because of this art. This would just look fantastic on the back of a bookshelf for a vintage Christmas display. I just think that's super sweet with the little dog sleeping on the rug next to the cat, peace on earth. So that one, I'm going to do it as a lot because I also have the second one, Frosty the Snowman. Now, the White Christmas has a single-digit zip code. So our famous zip code trick falls between 1948 and 1963. And I would have guessed by those graphics it would have been in the 50s regardless. This one I did do a quick dig because I couldn't figure out when this one was. This is 1966. So this is Frosty the Snowman. This is a 45. So this one does have what we're used to seeing in 45s with the larger hole. Again, surface-wise, it looks in pretty good condition, but I'm not selling these as playable. Hopefully they are, but like that's just a bonus because I'm selling them based on the art. And that's just a great little 1960s snowman. Pretty good shape, but you can see the top has been a little flexed a little bit because the packaging is taller. So the record's the same size, but that just meant that this top piece got kind of bent about a little bit. Still in pretty good shape, but it is vintage shape. So very cool art for your vintage displays, and you get both of them for $9. So $9 for the pair of Christmas records by giving me number 46. $9.46 for the pair of Christmas records.
Oh, those are so fabulous, Patrick. I love a good record. And yes, a lot of those 78 ones, even though most people don't have 78 players anymore, really are fun in a little vignette or display. I love those children's records. So great find there.
And there's a little thing at the very end. It says bonus play, 78 RPM, plays as long as a standard 10-inch record. So I don't even know what that means.
Now that's interesting because 78s typically only have about 5 minutes of music or so per side, and then a 10-inch record. Now they don't clarify if that's an extended play record because that would be different. Or not. I'm assuming because they're talking not 12-inch size, 10-inch size. They're probably talking about an EP. They'll probably have about 10 minutes of music per side because EPs, extended plays, typically have like 3 songs per side. So it's like in between a 45 and a regular 33 in the amount of songs. So very cool.
Cool. Sorry. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. My last item went to Edward out in the Thrifter Treasure. So congratulations for picking up that Moth 10. Now, the next item I have is just adorable. I almost considered keeping this for my ephemera bowl, but I'm passing it on to you guys because I love Mr. Peanut. This is the coolest thing I think I've ever seen. And this is from 1969. It's got a copyright date in it. I don't know exactly why this was sold, to be honest. Like, what does Mr. Peanut have to do with tennis? But apparently he does. And it's an advertisement for Planters Peanuts. And I love the back because it's got the little cheering section with the tennis match. We love Mr. Peanut. And then it's got Planters Cocktail Peanuts in all the different varieties in which it was sold. So you've got like the little canned nuts, the jarred nuts, dry roasted, peanut butter, mixed nuts, and then whatever these little things were, which I guess was a jumbo block of peanut candy. I don't know that they still make that. I know they make Planters cocktail peanuts, but I'm not sure if they make these anymore. And on the back, it's got a little running Mr. Peanut with this tennis racket. That just cracks me up. He just makes me so happy. And then you've got these fun graphics on the front. Now, what this book is not only an advertisement for Mr. Peanut and Planters Peanuts, it tells you all about the game of tennis, which is pretty cool. So if you want to learn tennis, this is your book. Well, it's got rackets and balls. It tells you what the different parts of the racket are. It has the playing court and where people should be and what they're called. So you have like my grandfather played tennis, so he would be better with these terms. Left service court, back court, alley, all of those fun things. And then it teaches you a little bit more about how to grip your racket. So you've got the forehand here, and then I think it goes into back serve, return of serve, the backhand, the serve. So you've got all these fun graphics, and you've got regular guys, and then you've got Mr. Peanut involved pretty much in all of the little graphics on the inside. So he's just kind of hanging out with the guy playing tennis. And we're going to name that guy Fred. So Fred and Mr. Peanut are having a grand old time playing tennis. So this is just such a fun book. My Ephemera Bowl challenge is coming up. And even though this technically really isn't Halloween, with the green, it would look really great mixed in with purple or black or other things for Halloween. And you could do some fun things in that Ephemera Bowl challenge coming up on October 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So this is just a fun little guide to tennis. Mr. Peanut, he's just so fun. And he is only going to be $10. So $10 for Mr. Peanut by giving me number 4. $10, number 4 for Mr. Peanut's Guide to Tennis.
It's so cool. And before you switch over the camera, Jeannie Lyle had posted while you were chatting that she wondered, I don't believe you showcased your brooch. So there was a question to see its design.
Sure. Yes. This is a fabulous brooch. This was my great grandmother's brooch, Esther. And I think that she handmade this. She was big into knitting and crocheting and sewing. In fact, I've got her sewing machine right behind me, which isn't going to show up probably on camera unless I move. But there's my great grandmother next to my grandma in those two pictures. And the 1916 Red Eye Singer sewing machine I have, that was hers. So this was her brooch.
Awesome. All right, so my last item, number 46, the Christmas records went to Prairie Stone Collectibles. And I apologize, Prairie Stone. If you've bought from me before, you might have been under a different name. Just make sure you send an email to my email that's on the screen, letting me or reminding me who you are so I can get you an invoice. All right, because I'm traveling, I do apologize. I'm going through a lot of ephemera over the last few weeks because it's easy to pack. So I have another piece of ephemera. And this one, I'm going to be 100% honest. When I got this along with a bunch of the ephemera that I got, the cookbooks. I assumed this was a cookbook. It is an absolutely fantastic illustration of the Star Brand butter, Milton's Star Brand butter. And it is from the Milton Dairy Company. But when you open it up, it's actually a bridge book. So
that's so fun.
All of the pages. I mean, I would not be able to swear whether it's been used at all. There are no, it's got the little perforation at the top and you can see from the edge, there's none pulled off, but somebody could have cleaned off the top layer too. So I have no idea, but there's still quite a bit of pages left in the book. So I think that this is actually probably as it was provided. This is another one that did not have any sort of copyright on it, but based on that graphic alone, what would you say, Katie? I'd put this into the 30s.
Yeah, I was going to say 30s. I mean, maybe maybe early 40s, but I would say 30s.
Yeah, and I did not have a chance to search the Milton Dairy Company, so I'm not even sure where this one is based. I'm in the Midwest, so most of the time when I get things like this, it's probably a Midwest-based dairy company. But it is a very cool. This to me would not go into obviously it's not a cookbook. Could go into cookbook collection, but this just makes a really cool kitchen vignette. Again, a backdrop because it's nice and rigid, so you could put it in the backdrop of on a shelf or on a tiered tray. It's just got that cool graphic. It is from a dairy, and I know there are people in the chat talking to you, Melody, that collect dairy items. So I doubt it's from Erie, Pennsylvania, but it is a dairy item, and it's just one of those little specially quirky things that I think looks really cool as a little shelf sitter. So it's only $4. So $4 for the dairy bridge book, $4 by giving me number 20. $4 number 20 for the Milton Star Butter book.
That has some great graphics. And boy, I wish I knew how to play bridge. That's just something I need to learn. And I see Lemmy Lemon is picking up the Mr. Peanut book. I'm so glad he's going to a good home. He is just darling. I don't know. That little Mr. Peanut running in the background and the end of the book just makes me happy for some reason. It's the little things, right? Well, the next item I have is kind of fun. It's a little kitchen lot. Now, I bought this kitchen timer, and I was really excited to find this vintage timer. I love these vintage timers because they're so classic. They have a wonderful sound to them. And then I flipped it over and I saw, well, it's made in China with a zip code. So I thought, okay, well, this has to be after 1963. I wonder if this is the reproduction. Well, no, it isn't a reproduction. The reproductions actually are white and they're plastic. And this is solid metal. It's not probably going to sound as it should on camera, but this is definitely solid metal. And it's a really, really nice Lux brand timer. So I did find a couple of new ones in the packaging, and they were dating these to the late 60s, early 70s. This one works, and it has the coolest sound. Listen to that timer. Isn't that cool? And then it actually does go off with that just wonderful sound. So we're going to have a little kitchen lot here. So you're going to get a Lux timer that still works, is in fabulous condition. No dents or dings to the metal. It's just got such a fun 1940s look with those lines. And then you're going to get a piece of 1940s kitchenware. Now, this is one of the green-handled kitchen utensils, and the green handles are older. They are from the 40s. The red ones are a little bit newer. And this is just fantastic. This is an apple core. Now, there is some, rusty crusty to it, but you don't find the apple cores a lot. I see tons of the potato mashers and the servers and all the different other things, but I've never seen this apple core. So I thought for fall, this would be so fun because you can do baking. So you can have your apple core and you can have your little kitchen timer together and make maybe an apple pie. And I am going to include a vintage apple pie recipe in this lot so you can actually make your vintage apple pie. So you're going to get this whole kitchen lot that is just so fun. And these timers are so handy for only $15. $15 by giving me number 13. $15 number number 13. I'll get that for the kitchen lot. There was some great actual fun pieces.
That's a great lot at a great price. Just that timer alone should be worth that. That's a fun look. My last item, the dairy bridge book. I completely guilted Halem into buying it for Melody. So thank you, Halem, for picking that up. I do actually have non-ephemera this evening, and I actually am going to show a piece that for the first time. I'm not going to, concerned is too strong of a word, but if you've been following my channel, you know that for the last couple of months, I've been talking about the Just One More Dachshund Rescue fundraiser that's coming up in November. Everyone is being so generous and so gracious and sending me so many items. I have a lot of items. And so I'm a little concerned that I'm going to be able to get through all of them in one sale. So I'm starting to spread some of them out. And I brought 2 items tonight that are specifically for the fundraiser. All of the money they've received for these will go to the fundraiser. So these will be a little bit outside the norm of what I would normally sell because what you're paying, do remember, it is specifically for a fundraiser. And the items that I have tonight are dog-themed items. So these are a pair of wall plaques. They're black resin with the gold accent. And, you know, I've never picked up my dog breed 101 book yet. So I do not know what these are. I'm just going to assume everyone was telling me that with that kind of curly hair, it's a spaniel, but I have no idea if it's a spaniel. So backing up a little bit, one is kind of in jumping motion, and the other one is in play bow motion. They are both marked on the back. They are from Invicta Products, and they both have copyrights of 1971, and they both still have the adhesive little sticker pieces that you would have used to hang these on the wall. I can't say whether they're actually valid, you know, whether they actually still hold anything, but you get this pair of wall plaques. I had actually picked these up, so I am making this is my one of my donations for the. Okay, so Prairie Stone is saying these are Benji dogs, and I don't know what kind of dog Benji is either. So I can see Benji in that. Anyway, so you get the pair of these, absolutely adorable, and all of the money again goes to the Doxies. So if you want to support the fundraiser, this is one way to do it. A pair of the wall plaques is available for $30. $30 for the Invicta wall plaques, $30 for giving me number 57. $30, number 57.
What a great lot there for the dogs. Oh my gosh, we got to help those little dachshunds because they have so many medical issues usually when they come into the rescue that really need a lot of care. So I'm glad that you have that, Patrick, tonight for the dogs. Just fabulous. Now, my last item went to Julie, AJ's Retro and Vintage. So that's coming all the way to Canada. So congrats on that buy. And I've got a fun item next for you for Halloween. This is a deck of Rook. Now, Rook is a very fun game. Played it several times as a kid. But what I like about this is a box that features a crow holding cards. So I thought, you know, for Halloween, you can do a lot with this. And even for 4th of July, because it is red, white, and blue. This is cool because it's got the $3.99 price sticker still on it from KB. I don't know if KB, I'm assuming they were some sort of like a department store of some kind, or maybe a toy store. I don't know what KB was. Maybe you guys remember KB. But this is dated on the box, and I can't find the date now. There it is, 1978. And it does have a little wear to the cardboard box, but it still has all of the cards inside. And the cards, guys, this is where this is really at. The cards are fabulous. Now, these have the little crows. So look at all of the crows. Aren't they so cool? So these would be fabulous in flower frogs for Halloween. You even have some of the playing cards are orange, red, and green. So you could pick out the numbers 31 for Halloween with the different colors like orange and black, or green and black, whatever you want to do, and do that like people do 31 and flower frogs for Halloween. The possibilities with these are endless. Of course, you can actually play the game because I do believe all the cards are here. So you're going to get that with the cards. Now, there's also a little book in the back with the Rook rules. So you are going to get all of the rules on how to play Rook so you and your family can have a great time playing Rook. You can display the little graphic with the crow there. This is just a fun little lot of vintage cards with some great graphics. Now, this has been opened, so you can see at one point that probably would have been more like this because there's a perforated there, but it is just a fun little container. So you're going to get the 1978 Rook playing cards for only $8, the whole box for only $8 by giving me number 2. $8, number 2 for the Rook playing cards by Parker Brothers. Patrick, you're muted.
Sorry, the sirens were going off again, so I figured I better turn those off. My last item, the pair of Invicta wall plaques, the dogs went to Lori at Blue Flamingo Mercantile. So thanks so much, Lori, for picking that up and supporting the Just One More Dachshund Rescue. The full fundraiser will be November 11th. So that will be where a lot of these, but some of them will go into my eBay store. I do not have an eBay item this week because I'm not going to be home to be able to ship it. So I'm just trying to time things out. So there won't be anything going into my eBay store, but there will be some things at the end of the month that'll, again, I'll start spreading out some of the dog items. So we are getting into another pseudo piece of ephemera in the sense that they are made out of paper, but I thought these were cool. And I actually bought a few of these. So this is going to be a multiple. So, buckle your seatbelt there, Nate. I do have 5 sets of these. So there will be 5 winners for this item. It is a set of, with its original hang tag, new old stock of needle kits. And when I originally bought it, I thought each one, I'm like, well, that's odd. I wonder why they sold them as a set of 5. Like, who would need 5 of these? Maybe it was a wholesale item, but then it says, your eyes, your time, your nerves, use threaded needles. Well, then I paid really close attention and I realized they're all different colors. So that one is 48 inches of black thread, white. This one is a DuPont Color Last nylon that will blend with most colors, brown and beige. And kind of the colors of the packaging matches a little bit, except the blue is actually black. So you get these. For some reason, they have a little braille insert in the back. I'm not sure why. And they say each say something different, so maybe that's the color. So that's kind of cool. And they are all marked that they were packed in Hong Kong. So probably the 70s. It definitely has a zip code on it, so we're past 1963. These are super cool. Like, I would probably, as much as I like new old stock, these I would probably rip open and then put the individual packets like in a bowl or something. So if you've got a sewing room or you're doing a little vignette, I think these would be cuter outside of the package, but they're pretty cool in the packaging too. So it's all, and for people that travel like me, I travel with a sewing kit. So I definitely have one. I wouldn't have 5, but I guess I would take the Color Last one that blends with most colors. So you get this pack with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 needle packs in them. You get the entire set for $5. So I have 5 of these sets available. So the first 5 people that give me the right number, all 5 of you will receive the new old stock set. So for $5, give me number 52. $5, 52 for the needle pack set. Now you're muted.
Now I'm muted. Well, I travel with a sewing kit too, and I always keep one in my car just in case a button comes loose. So those are really, really handy. And I think too, in a sewing room, they just be great. So the next item I have is a fun mystery jar. Now, I got this idea from Patrick because Patrick, a few weeks ago on one of his sales, had a little tiny jar filled with all kinds of miniatures, and it was just a fun little junk jar. Vinny's the one that kind of introduced us to the concept of junk jars, and I just thought, what a great idea. So I found a really, really cool jar. Now, I think that this is probably maybe 80s. It could be 50s, but this color really could go either way. But what's cool about the jar is it's actually marked on the bottom with a B. So the B is for Brockway glass, which made a lot of really good glass. So it's a fun glass jar with the blue little fun design with the plastic lid. So you've got a plastic lid here with just that really amazing blue color, vintage blue. You gotta love it. And inside, I have filled it with all kinds of fun little vintage items. I'm not going to show you really what's in it. You get a little sneak peek, but they're all items that kind of represent my aesthetic and love in some way. So I can tell you that there's going to be some jewelry, some Coca-Cola things, some keys. So there's just a lot of fun in the jar, and it's just a fun little item to unbox. And then you can reuse the jar later, and you can put all your little things in a printer's tray, or you can continue to add to it. I've left room, so if you wanted to start your own junk jar, you can continue to add things to this jar. It is a really nice size, so it's a wide mouth jar. It's 4 inches tall, and the opening is about 3.5. So it's a really nice size to add things to. And you're going to get this Brockway glass junk jar for only $18. $18 by giving me number 12. $18, number 12 for the vintage mystery junk jar.
Oop, almost started speaking while muted, but I've caught myself. All right, so my last lot, the 5 sets of the 5 needle kits, went to Blue Flamingo Mercantile, Halem, Old Stuff Beth Texas, Jennifer Miller, and Jean Marie. And Jennifer Miller, I think you might be new to me, but maybe not. So I apologize if I'm not remembering you. So just make sure you send me an email so I know, because those will actually, if that's all you buy from me, those can probably go in a regular envelope. So the postage won't be very expensive. All right, the next item I showcased these. This was again, I do like ephemera. I have a collection of it myself, and I love picking it up in even stuff that I don't want to keep in my personal collection. I love picking up to resell because I know somebody is going to give it a good home and put it to good use. And this was one of the cooler items that I had found. It was in an estate sale with of a former educator. I do not refer to her as old. She was actually probably dead, but a former educator. So there were a lot of teaching books, like the theory of teaching, and I've sold some of those historically. This one was a classroom banner. So I'm going to do my best to actually showcase this. I'm going to back up here because the whole thing unfolds. So on one side, you have the entire banner of the alphabet, uppercase and lowercase, of how to write your letters. But more importantly, on the back side are the animals that reflect those letters. So, are all asleep. And then we've got city, cats climb, dragons don't dry. Well, that's rude. Goodbye, good green. And they look like ghosts. Firemen find fire fast. And they appear to be going right by my hotel room. So you've got all these. So if you open the whole thing, which you wouldn't have to do, you could hang just half of it. It's very hard to do because it's extremely, extremely long. But you would then have the top and the bottom. So it's a fairly large, like obviously for a classroom. I'm never for or against cutting things for junk journals. You know, everything needs to find its home in the world. I think it's going to be hard to find an educator that wants to use a vintage piece like this. It was used, there are holes in the corners where it was pinned up. I'd love the idea of this staying in piece, but the fact of the matter is the artwork on it is just too cool. So I could see this being cut across. And it's an absolute grade school piece. There was a date on it, and of course I forgot. 1973 from Holt, Reinhardt, and Winston Publishers. So it's a 1970s piece. And, again, condition-wise, you do just have the holes. Like, this was a used piece. But it's absolutely massive. I want to say when I measured it was 6 feet long. So it could go into a child's bedroom. It could go into, it'd be a little hard to do an individual vignette, but you could display it like a book, because you can open it and just show 2 pages, and you could actually change the pages that you show. So it does kind of work like a book if you just want the graphics to show. Look, trunk down elephants.
Yay! Trunk
down. So that is what I've got for you. Vintage condition, 1970s wall hanging for $8. So $8 for the alphabet with those awesome graphics from the 70s. $8 by giving me number 33. $8, 33 for the wall hanging.
And that would be good for a playroom, Peterson. I agree. But I have to say, I love that pumpkin graphic for Halloween. And, of course, the trunk down elephants. Now, speaking of Peterson, my last item went to Peterson, the junk jar. So congratulations on that. I've got a really cool item up next. I was very excited to find this. I just adore books. I don't know what it is about vintage books that just make me so happy. But I think these are great on a bookcase. They're really good stacked up in a display vignette. And this is great because it's kind of the color of Christmas or fall. You could do your fall leaves with the red and orange and brown, or you can bring this out red and green for Christmas, or even for 4th of July, or just all year round, because this color just is fantastic. And red books are so fun to find. Now, this book is really cool. It's an antique, getting antique. It's vintage, but it's from 1946. And I do believe that this is a first edition, because It is marked 1946, and this is a then and now novel by W. Sumrest Moham. I'm probably not saying his last name correctly, but that is
Represent long.
thank you. That is when this book officially came out. Now, he is a British author, and the graphics in this book are fantastic. And this is a historical novel set in Imola, Italy, during the Renaissance about the life of Nicola Machiavelli, a Florence politician. So this is just really a fun book. And look at the graphics on the inside with this diamond and all of those fun vintage kind of dresses that they've got going on. I just think this is so cool. And of course, you can actually read the book. All the pages are there. It would be a really interesting read because I find historical novels really interesting. But again, you've got the fun graphics. You could display it open like this. You could stack it up. Even the spine has some really, really cool graphics there with that typeface. I love the way they've done then and now. So it's a fun book from 1946. Got some really, really great wonderful book smell to it. You know, when you open up a book and it just smells like a bookstore, you've got that fun smell. And it's in really, really good shape for its age. I mean, there's just a little bit of wear around the outside. The spine, for the most part, is in good shape. None of the pages are falling out. So this is just fantastic. So you can get this 1946 Then and Now book for only $12 by giving me number 9. $12, number 9, for the 1946 red book.
And I did do a quick Google on that one, and that book did come out in 1946. So yeah, you're right. More likely than not, that was the first edition, because it's unlikely they would have needed to reprint it within the same year. So like, it's always nice when it has the numbering, but that's a later thing. So if it basically know when the book was published, see what year is in there, it looks like you've got first edition. My last item, number 33, the wall hanging went to Christina Taylor. So thank you, Christina, for picking that up. My next item is another piece of ephemera. Anytime I find these, I just love picking them up. They're low ticket items because I love these as an idea of some people just putting these into vignettes, putting them into an ephemera bowl. This falls, and I was trying to find in the little gap I was looking on my chats. I'm trying to remember who I was just in a conversation with today. I want to say it might have been Gabby. Was what eras do you like to collect for and direct for, just have, or what you like? I really lean in the 20s and the 30s, and not the jazz era deco 20s. Like, I really, everyone was dirt poor in the 30s, and I love it. I don't know. I'm dark. This is a memo book from the 20s. And it has the calendar in it from 1927 to 1928. I'm not sure why there's both is in there, but there were a couple pages that were pulled out of this. So the first page starts with March. I'm assuming there was a January and a February, and someone decided that those months were not worthy of staying in the book. But it's a small little memorandum book from Pierce's Memorandum account book. So it's kind of cool graphics. We're in the late 20s. But as you go through it, this is just what's cool. And again, this is a low ticket item. So this is something that would be great for a junk journal because, first of all, you've got pages that right there have room to write on, but it's filled with all of these cool ads that just seem total huckster. If you want a clear skin, note this. And it's all promoting this Pierce's medical stuff. So you've got... let's see, we've got all these stories. Woman's responsibility. Can you meet yours? Through overwork, I got all run down. So you get to hear about how she was all tired and then she took this lovely medication and she's better now. Something I wouldn't have expected in the 1920s. Enlargement of a prostate gland. So everyone can see what the backside, what a male bladder looks like from behind. I'm sure you were completely wondering about that. A man of rare professional attainment. So we could talk about Dr. Pierce. Again, for junk journals, there's just pages right there of memoranda. They usually got places to do notes. The back cover is his Invalids Hotel and Surgical Institute. So you're on Main Street in Buffalo, New York. So you just got some really cool architectural graphics. The Dr. Pierce's clinic. So you've got some photography. There's just some fun stuff and then some fun stories and things in there. It's just a cute little booklet. It's in pretty good condition in the sense that it's not like the spine is really tight and it's actually very clean around all the edges, but you just recognize that January and February are no more. So it's just a cute book, and Sam's being very helpful. 1927 is the same as 2022. So if you don't care about January and March, or January, February, you can start March of 2022 with Pierce's Memorandum account book, and you can have it for yours for only $5. So $5 for the Pierce's memo book by giving me number 49. $5.49 for the 1927-28 memo book.
How cool are those graphics and all of those advertisements? I'm just fascinated by stuff like that. How great, Patrick. Now, I wanted to announce that my last item went to For Sandy's Lilac. So thank you so much, For Sandy. I know you like those books. That's fun. I've got a really special item up next for you, and I am so excited about this item. I advertised it a little bit over on Instagram, but there's a wonderful gentleman I met here in town called Mr. Frank. He worked for CSX, and he was married to a lady that he called Honey Bun. They were married, I believe, over 70 years, and this is them here. And he is just the nicest guy. His wife just passed away, and I was able to go to his house and pick up some of her sweaters and vintage items that she had. And she wore all kinds of vintage sweaters and wigs. She had over 150 vintage sweaters, I believe, and she wore them all, which is so cool. They're the neatest couple, and I was able to find one of the coolest sweaters I think I've ever seen. And it comes in its original packaging. Now, they bought this, I believe, when they were in China in 1950. So he remembers buying this sweater. And this is, guys, the coolest sweater I've ever seen. It is a size large. And look at the little applique turtles. Oh my gosh, how cool is this sweater? There's more turtles. So you have the turtle family. So you've got mom and baby turtle and dad and other baby turtles. And then you've got even baby turtles on the sleeve. And look at the graphics on those little turtle appliques. Are they not just fabulous? So this vintage sweater is made in the Republic of China. It's 100% acrylic, so it won't shrink, which is really nice. It's made by the Shirley Company. It is a large. Now, this is a vintage large, so I would equate this to probably a medium now. But this is just so cool. So even if you can't wear the sweater, because I know that we all don't fit into the little 50 sizes anymore, you could put this on your dress form. You could even salvage the little turtles off of the sweater. Or if you have a grandchild or a kid and you want to dress them up, kind of like an older lady, kind of the granny chic style that a lot of the fun kids are dressing up now with the big glasses and the wig, you could put them in this little sweater for Halloween. How cool would that be? I just love the history of the sweater. I love the little turtles. They had to be saved. And how sweet is it to actually have a sweater from Mrs. Honeybun herself? So that is just fabulous. You're going to get the vintage 1950 sweater for only $25, and you can have it by giving me number 5. 25, number 5 for the vintage sweater. No stains, no rips, no tears. Absolutely brand new in the original packaging. Just fabulous.
Vinny's commenting that the turtles remind him of Treasure Craft, and I totally agree. Those little swirls.
Yeah, they do.
It's just that's just such a neat effect of how they did the turtle, the back of the turtle.
Yeah, it really is. Aren't they just so cute?
All right, so my last item, the Pierce memo book, went to Jennifer Miller. So thank you, Jennifer, for picking that up. My next item is the other item that I brought from the Just One More Dachshund Rescue fundraiser. So this was donated by Sherry Hines. She's donated multiple items to me already because she herself is a Doxy owner. She's helped me in some live sales behind the scenes before. She's the Huckster handler because she doesn't let me get away with anything. And she is actually in Sweeney Todd, which I was able to see a rehearsal right before I left on my trip. So she is in her final dress rehearsal tonight. So anyway, this came from Sherry. It is a vintage book, which admittedly has a little bit of condition issue in the dust jacket. The book itself actually has a tight spine. The pages are good, but the dust jacket definitely has some wear to it. So there's some great art on there, and it's like smack on the front is a beautiful dachshund. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of wear. So it's not the best condition of items that I've sold before, but it's an amazing item because once you take, and I'm going to actually take the dust jacket off because I don't want it to get any worse condition as I'm showing it. It also has a beautifully printed cover that shows the name of the book, Wagging Tails, an album of dogs. So you've got that. It's not, actually it is embossed. It's actually pressed into it. So it's on the spine too. So you'd have the book if you wanted to protect the spine. It was either a library book or possessed, had a book plate in it, because you can see the remnants of the book plate shows the word belongs is in there. So it was somebody, but it doesn't seem to have any other stamps on the edges. So I'm not sure if it was actually a library book. Some beautiful, it's a story of, it's a book of stories, and each one has a beautiful full page illustration to go along with it. So this is the Scots Collie Dog with a gorgeous full color, full page photo or illustration of a collie, plus all the little illustrations, like pen and ink illustrations off to the side. So we've got the collie dog. And actually there's another image of a full page of the collie dog. You've got the Merry Beagle. And you've got a beagle jumping. So here's my breed identification book. The Gentleman Boxer. We've got a full page of the boxer. We've got our sour mug, the bulldog. You got the bulldog. Let me look at the summary and let's see if I can find a pug. Let's see if Louis is represented. When did pugs become popular?
Well, I think pugs were very popular in, of course, the ancient days in China, but now they're becoming more popular. So I don't know if between then and now there was a time where they were popular, but I know now they're very hot.
So this is 1955. Unfortunately, Louis is not represented, but we've got Dalmatians, Fox Terriers, Pointers, Springer Spaniels, Labradors, Boston Terriers. There's all kinds of them in here. So all some great art, nice little cover image. But the best part of this book, I marked the page. The best part of the book is it's signed by the author.
Oh, that's fabulous.
So this book is written by Marguerite Henry, who did several, and I meant to look them up. I recognized her name. I want to say, I'm sure somebody recognized. I want to say, was she the one that did the Tesseract book?
Yes, I think that was her.
All right. So anyway, so this is signed by the author, and I have no reason to believe that this is forged. I mean, I didn't really research it. Just the way this came into our possession. It's a great author signed book. And again, once you take the cover off, the book is in really good condition. It's just that the cover was, and the cover can add some value to it, particularly in a signed version. This is another case where it doesn't say it's a first edition, but it says copyright 1955 and all rights reserved. In the edition of 1955, there's a Library of Congress catalog number from 1955 that this may be a first edition. I do not know. But there is, trying to hold this and not destroy it, there's a tiny letter A on the bottom of the copyright page. So I do not know this publisher, but I'm thinking that indicates this is the first edition. So all of those things in mind, even with the bad cover, it's a beautiful book. I would hope it wouldn't be destroyed for junk journaling, but you can do what you want with it. But it's just a great little keepsake, this would just be a great book to read to your kids or grandkids because of the great illustrations that go along with it. So it is a signed, possible first edition, edition A of Wagging Tails by Marguerite Henry. You can pick it up for $25. Again, all of this money goes directly to the fundraiser. So this was donated by Sherry Hines, who's not watching right now. But again, thank you to Sherry for this and her other donations. $25 going to the jomdr.org by giving me number 61. $25, 61 for Wagging Tails.
What an awesome book, Patrick. I love the little poodle in the corner next to the A. That is just so 50s to me. Now, my last item went to Krista Hager, and I already got your email, so thank you so much. That is a reminder to all of you folks that if you do purchase something today, we're very appreciative, but make sure you do send us an email with your information. So way to go, Krista. I've got some fun, rusty, crusty, and dusty for you, an item that's after my own heart. And this is just so cool for Halloween. I was looking for things that would just be great in a little Halloween display, and I love the orange and the black. And so this is a Hofko liquid shoe dressing. It is the white color, and it just has some fabulous graphics. Now, this is a cardboard canister, and it's got the metal on the bottom, the metal lid on the top. And what's really cool about it is it still has its Hofko liquid shoe dressing on the inside. This is filled to the brim. Now, I cannot get the lid off. And I'm just going to try to ship it as is and wrap it really well. But it is filled with the liquid shoe dressing. But what's really cool about this is when I flipped it over on the bottom, there's a mark. So I was actually able to figure out who made the glass bottle. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that mark right there because it's white and clear, so it makes it pretty hard to see. But this glass bottle is made by Knox. Knox made a lot of really, really good glass. I love the graphics on the top, Hofko shoe. It's just got the paper label. The paper label is in pristine condition other than a little tiny fold here where it was put back into the container. But I mean, this is almost never used. There's a little bit of, rusty crusty on the outside of this cardboard. This, I do believe, is from the 1940s for two reasons. One is that seems to be the era of when this particular shoe dressing container with this graphic was sold. The other thing is there is a 1-digit zip code. So Milwaukee too. So that would have been in the late 40s, 1948 or so, for large cities. So think like LA and New York before 5-digit zip codes came into be in 1963. So this just has some cool graphics on it. Love the red and black for Halloween. Great for a little display, vignette, even in your little closet on your dressing table because it's shoe polish. It would just be so fun. And you can have this for only $13. $13 for the Hofko shoe dressing container by giving me number 10. 13, number 10 for the wonderful shoe dressing container.
All right. My last lot, the signed dog book that's going for the Just One More Dachshund Rescue fundraiser, went to Lori from Blue Flamingo Mercantile. So thank you, Lori, for picking that up and for making another donation to the Dachshunds. All right, my next item I have is a set of vintage postcards. And these, I'm trying to theme them together and sell them in small lots to make them of interest, kind of build an instant collection. And this one is going to give you an instant collection of Easter postcards. So these, I had another set of these in the past that were not postmarked. These actually have all been canceled and they have the stamps. Well, 3 of them still have the stamps on them. So this one is Best Easter Wishes. This was shipped to Washington, Kingman, Washington, it looks like, in 1912. So you can see the postmark was somewhere in New Jersey, New Jersey, 1912. So you've got the canceled Easter postcard for that one. You also have Best Easter Wishes with the little country church in the background. That one is also on 1912. This one started in something, Pennsylvania, and was shipped to Quakertown, Pennsylvania. That was also from 1912. The next one is vertical, A Happy Easter with the Easter lilies and the cross. This one was postmarked 1910 from Philadelphia going to, is that New York? Denton, New York? I have no idea what that says. Lord help the postman. So 1910, though, was that postmark. And this one is a cute little chick coming out of the egg. Great tidings, but looks Easter to me. This one, or no, it isn't glad. No, it does say great tidings, but I just kind of thought it was Easter. It actually has a copyright on the bottom, which isn't all that common. that I think it says 1906 on the bottom. This one does have an address written in, but there was no stamp, no message. So I'm not sure this was ever actually mailed. But Grandma Wilson wanted to give this to Catherine. So you've got the set of 4, 3 with the postmarks on their stamps, and the 4th, good intentions from Grandma Wilson, with the postmark on the bottom of, I believe it says 1906. Sorry, Peterson, I didn't bring my cheaters. So if anyone else can read it, there you go. Get all set of them, all 4, for $10. So $10 for the Easter postcards, $10 giving me number 32. $10.32 for the Easter postcards.
Man, you do not find those postcards very often. So what a great lot, Patrick. Fantastic. Now, Celeste, you are getting my last item. So thank you so much. Congratulations for picking that up. Now, I've got a really fun item next. This is sort of kitschy and whimsical, and I just had to rescue it. So this guy has a funny story. I was going out of my apartment, and some lady was getting rid of this, and she goes, I don't want this anymore. And she was getting ready to put it in kind of our area where we put free things, for people to take. And I thought, well, no one could get rid of this poor little pig. And I flipped him over, and he was Fitz and Floyd. The lady was just getting rid of a 1993 Fitz and Floyd picture. So I immediately had to rescue this fellow because I just couldn't let him go. He's so darling. And so I hope someone will rescue him because he really needs a good home. Now, he is so cute. He's Fitz and Floyd, and he's got his little chef hat on. He's baking a pie. He's got his little pie. He has a little spotted apron. Look how cute is that little apron. He even has a little mouse with the carrots in his back pockets, a little ratatouille. And then you've got your measuring cups on the other side, a bow, and this kind of yellow handle. So they've done some really nice detailing to the glaze here. Now, the only issue with this little fella is he's had a little issue on his hoof there. But I didn't color it in, but if you wanted to with Sharpie or watercolor, you could. And really, he'd be good as new because there is no issues, chips, or cracks to him. He's very, very clean on the inside. So you could use this at Thanksgiving for your wonderful tea that you make or any type of, spiced or mulled wine. I mean, he is just so fun. So I figured that he needs to go to somebody's kitchen and be well loved. He is Fitz and Floyd from 1993, holds 25 ounces. Now, when I did look him up, I could not find many like him. There was a few, but they all had some different details. So apparently, I guess whenever this line was sold, you could get some with the mouse in the back pocket. Some had like this wire thing coming out with the pie, like carrying a little basket of muffins. There were some different ones. I couldn't find him exactly, but he is just so darling. So the little Fitz and Floyd pig is only going to be $13, and he is going to be number 15. $13, number 15 for the adorable little chef pig that just needs a wonderful home.
All right, my last item, the set of Easter postcards went to Gina Marie. So thank you, Gina, for picking up the postcards. Next item I had, the minute I saw it, I recognized the design to it. It is a Louisville Stoneware, and I would have assumed it was an M.A. Hadley piece. This one, however, is not marked. So I don't know if at some point they stopped marking them as M.A. Hadley. This one does have the green design around the edges, so they did that on some of their designs, or maybe the welcome plaques. The text isn't quite the way Hadley would have done the text, so it's something that's very traditional for Louisville Stoneware. So you've got this welcome plaque that I believe is designed to go onto the outside of your home because there are the 2 screw holes right here that you would actually bolt this to your door or to the side of your home. Now, when I picked it up, you can see there's still the remnants of the tape on the back. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They've actually got the screws to actually go into it. Well, there's one, but it's just a standard screw. So I'll either try and find a match to it, or you can just find a pair. There's nothing special to the screw holes. but it is an absolutely perfect, pristine condition. I don't know if it was ever used. I bought it thinking it had not been used because that tape was holding on the screws. So I'm like, oh, that maybe it's like new old stock or something. But I have a feeling somebody did use it and just try to save the screws, and one fell out. But you've got this great little old-fashioned home showing on the front, the welcome plaque, very flat. It is a plaque and very clearly marked Louisville Stoneware. There are many designs that they did, but this is one of them that I was able to find on eBay to see what the sold comps, and pretty much they were typically selling in the $15 to $20 range. So I've got mine for 10. So $10 for the Louisville Stoneware welcome plaque, $10 for a piece of Louisville Stoneware by giving me number 63. $10, 63 for the welcome plaque.
That has some great graphics on it, Patrick, and would be beautiful by your door. I really like that. And yes, you could get some screws from the hardware store for a couple of cents and you'd be good to go. Now, I've got a fun item for you. This just has some fantastic graphics, and I can't beat old graphics. I mean, you just can't beat them. They're fantastic. What this is a U.S. Rummy game. Now, it says, Know Your United States, and this is made by the All Fair card game. Now, this is pretty cool. This is a box, and if the box weren't cool enough for 4th of July or other displays, the cards are really cool. These have these green cards, and they've got the picture of the United States. So again, these would be great in a flower frog. You have your How to Play United States Rummy with the E.E. Fairchild Corporation mark, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. And then you have all of your states, and it has bits of information. So North Dakota, it's 7,837 square miles. West and North Central states. Now, I did count the cards. There are 35 of them, so they're not 50 states. However, when you read the rules, each player only gets 5 cards. So I don't know if all the cards are there. That's the only issue. I don't know if there's supposed to be 50 states, or with the fact that you're only getting 5 cards and you're trading states. According to the rules, there's Florida. Maybe you wouldn't have had all. So I'm not exactly sure, but this is pretty cool because this game, I do believe, is from the late 40s. And I'll talk about that here. Now, this card here is marked E.E. Fairchild Corporation, and the box itself is marked an All Fair card game. Now, this is pretty cool because Alderman Fairchild made cardboard boxes, hats for hats, shoes, candy, all kinds of things. And then in 1922, he started the All Fair Card Game Company, and they made toys and games. But then in 1940, they made card games marked E.E. Fairchild. So this has the All Fair Card Game, but it is marked E.E. Fairchild here. So I do believe that this game, based on those markings, are from the 40s. Now, in 1943, they stopped marking the boxes All Fair completely. So this is early 40s. And then they went completely bankrupt in 1960. So if you find games that are marked E.E. Fairchild, they're definitely between 1940 and 1960. So this is a really, really cool old box. It just has some great graphics. There are some remnants of tape here where someone has taped the box. But overall, besides a little bit of wear here and there, this box is fantastic and the cards are great. So if you are not going to play this game, you could still put all of these cards with your favorite state in different flower frogs, or use them as package toppers, whatever you want to do. It is just fantastic. So you are going to get the U.S. Rummy box for only $12 because I don't know if it's complete or not. So $12 by giving me number 6. $12, number 6 for the U.S. Rummy game.
Awesome. It's like a little pop quiz, like, okay, when were all the 50 states? Yeah, so in the 40s, they didn't even want to show Alaska or Hawaii because they weren't states yet. So my next item is, I've had some of these before, and I picked them all up at the same time through the same place. I bought them online, and they're the rewards. They're the antique rewards of merit. And the lot that I bought, the main reason I bought it was for this one. This is the largest rewards of merit that I've ever had, and the largest from that set. Not that I've had that many, but this one is significantly larger. I should have measured it. It's probably in the 5x7 size compared to a lot of the others are more like business card size. So this one is 5.5 by 9.25. So you've got a fairly large size here. And what's special about this one is it's one of the kind that even though most of these, none of the ones I've had have ever been dated or copyrighted, this has a very distinct design to it from the aesthetic movement, which pushes us into the 1880s, possibly going into the 1890s, but we were definitely dealing with a 19th century piece. Shows that it was presented to Alma Hill, and it shows that it was signed by the teacher, and the name is a little bit harder to read. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I was disappointed when I picked it up because they photographed it in such a way, you can probably see it. There is a line that looked like this was kept in an album, and possible that when the album was closed, whatever they used to attach the piece on the opposite side got stuck. And so there's a very straight line here. I think that's probably from some level of adhesive that when they removed it, it got a little tear. It's not torn, but whatever the opposite piece was, gave some damage there and then some damage here. But the piece itself, it doesn't take away from the piece because this is hand tinted. This was printed in that blue color. So this was a one color processing. And then somebody went in and colored the little fire, colored the dress on the woman, colored the shading on the ships. This is just a phenomenal piece that was kept in the family because this is what a teacher would have given their kids back in the 19th century for good merit. Maybe at the end of the school year, this one's so large. This was probably more of a presentational piece that this might've been maybe a graduation or something. It's a great piece that unfortunately does have a little bit of damage. And, I don't like to sell damage, but when you have something that's this unique, you can kind of survive the damage. I just have to adjust the price. So this should sell in the $20 to $25 range because of its size and unique. I am selling it because of that damage for $7. So $7 for the 5.5 by 9 reward of merit. Absolutely distinct. If you're in the Northeast New England area, you've got the little ships, whatever, cross collectability, but absolutely antique. $7 by giving me number 37. $7.37 for the large reward of merit.
Gosh, I love those rewards of merit, Patrick. They are so unique and the graphics are just fabulous. Those are so cool. Well, Celeste, you were getting my last item, so congrats on picking up the Rummy game. And yes, Patrick, I forgot about Hawaii and Alaska. When I was doing the research, I thought, there's got to be something with the states there too. And then you reminded me, so thank you so much. That's just fantastic. Okay, so the next item I have is a beautiful vintage linen for you. Now, I don't know the age of this, but I do know that it's vintage. This is just really beautiful, I think, for this time of year as we're getting into the winter whites and kind of the fall creams and just really good colors. So the nice thing about a linen like this is that it kind of can mix with any kind of decor or colors that you have in your house. This is a really beautiful table runner. I think it could also be a dresser scarf. Now, there is something about the length of table scarves and dresser scarves that are different, so you can kind of tell the difference between the two. I'm not 100% sure what this would be, but you could use it for either or. So let me measure it here for you, and then I'll show you some of the details. So this going across, let's see, is roughly, as I'm dropping everything off the counter here, is roughly, 12 and 12 and 12. So that's, 10. I'm trying to do the math here, folks, for you. So it's roughly about 30 inches long. And we have this beautiful crocheted detail to it. This is what I love about it. You've got these two crocheted details that come down to a point. I do think that this is crocheted. And the detail work on this is just really lovely. I can't imagine that this is something that would have taken less time to do. This probably really took a lot of hand-eye coordination and time and work. I do believe that this is hand done. The woman that made this did sign her name. So there's a little mark here on the edge where she did sign her name. And you've just got some really beautiful detail going around the edge here. I think that this is sort of either a linen or a cotton. It's a little bit soft in my opinion to be linen, but it has sort of that linen texture. Now the only issue with this is it has a tiny little coffee stain right there. Now you can get that out with Biz. I do love my Biz, but everything else on this looks really good to me. It is a nice size, so keep your dressers warm or your tables warm this winter and put your dresser scarves and your table runners on it. Great for fall for your Thanksgiving table. It's just really beautiful. So this crochet white table runner is only $12. $12 by giving me number 14. $12, number 14 for the beautiful white linen crocheted table runner.
All right, my next item is actually not a piece of ephemera. I'm able to tuck this into the box as well. So this is for all my sewing fans out there. For those who've not followed my channel before, I did actually own a quilt shop with my ex-wife for 10 years. So I don't tend to want to deal with quilts, but I do admit that I kind of get attracted to sewing items and things like that, just because there's so many cool tools that are available. So this one is, I'm going to just make some assumptions. I believe based on the condition of the material that's in there, that this is an older piece. So this is a velvet, and it has kind of a lumpy filling to it, like it's not fiber fill or anything like that. I can't say. I doubt if it's horsehair or anything like that, but it could be. I've never dealt with this type of a pin cushion before. I've dealt with pin cushions, but they're usually more distinct to figure out timing. This appears to be an actual shell that somebody's taken two shells, or two halves of the shells, and glued it together to get the pin cushion, the cushion to be glued inside of there. And I'm going to go ahead and include the pieces that were included with it. It's a type of clamshell, and I don't know how to know if it's mohair or not. Vinny, you know more. Evidently, you'll know more about the fabric than I do. I know contemporary cotton fabric from the quilt store, but the one pin that was in here is this one, which when you pull it out, I'm going to pull it out next to my microphone and see if you might be able to hear it. It's got like resistance, like whatever that fill is. It's grabbing it as it's coming out. And the pin itself has some age to it. So you can see there's actually some oxidation on the pin. So it's I believe a glass-headed pin, fairly thick shaft. The others appear to be fairly straightforward and contemporaries from needles and things. So that's the one that I think is unique to it. So I tried to get some ideas of what these things sell for. I couldn't find any specifically like this, but I picked it up. I thought it was super cute, and I think would look great, on an antique sewing machine, in a vignette, on a tiered tray when you're whatever you wanted to celebrate the sewing abilities of women. I don't know what holiday that would be, but there you go, Mother's Day. I don't know. So you've got this vintage, I'm going to assume, pin cushion with, I'm pretty sure, a vintage pin. $10. So $10 for the little shell pin cushion. $10. Give me number 41. $10.41 for the pin cushion.
That is the most unique thing I've seen in a while, Patrick. I have to say, whoever made that was pretty clever. And great if you have a Florida display, because you can add that seashell in with those things. Now I've got a really great piece of ephemera for you. Patrick has been showing some amazing ephemera. So I've got a piece of sheet music. Now I have an affinity for vintage sheet music. I don't know why. I just can't help it. It is just amazing. Now this is a 1935 piece of sheet music featuring Bing Crosby. We all gotta love Bing Crosby. This is his red sails in the sunset. It has some cool graphics on it. So if you are doing a beach theme, how amazing would this be framed above your couch? Because you've got the sail, you've got looks like maybe some sort of a white bird, maybe a seagull. I would probably say seagull. I could be wrong. And then you've got the ocean waves. And I love the way the ocean waves are styled. They're not exactly the same, but it kind of reminds me of those Japanese style paintings with the ocean waves. I believe there's one in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. They don't have it on display because it's so fragile that they only bring it out once a month for a few hours. But anyway, that reminds me of that style of painting. And then on the back, you've got some really amazing advertisements. We've got Bill Haley's American Home Songs, 88 grand old songs, Gem Dance Folio from 1935, 33 Prison and Mountain Songs. So that is interesting. Harmony, let's see. I'm trying to read through the camera here. Harmony Quartet Collection. You've got all kinds of fun little advertisements for the other sheet music that was available then. So this is kind of a neat look into music too. And then we've got the marking here. Now this was made for the Chaparro, Breinstein and Company music publishers, and coming from New York. I love the New York. And then when you open it up, it's just got some fantastic opportunities for framing or junk journaling. All the sheet music is there. And I have seen people do some really cool things with the sheet music. Now, this also has the echoes of the radio, songs of not so long ago. And it's got all of the songs for that time period that were echoes of the radio. So this is just a really little cool snapshot of history, of music history, and some great graphics featuring Bing Crosby, who we all know and love. And this 1935 piece of sheet music can be yours for only $5. $5 for the 1935 Red Sails in the Sunset sheet music. And yes, you've got some Prison and Mountain songs advertised on the back, which is just bizarre, but there you go.
All right, trigger warning for some of you. Clowns are approaching. So my next item is the Ringling and Barnum Brothers Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus program from their bicentennial edition. So from 1975, 1976. So the bicentennial was obviously 76. This one was issued in 75, and they probably used it for a full year. But what I found interesting about it is it's the program that you would have bought when you attended the circus, but it actually has ads in it. And the ads were done in a way to support the concept of the circus. So check out this Datsun ad for the 1975, 14 gargantuan values for 1975. And they've done it like a 3-ring circus. They've got the, what was that? The B210 is in there, you know, with the clown driving it. And it says, as seen in the circus. So there must have been some sort of act where it looks like they were flipping or they did the ramp like the Evel Knievel jumping. So Datsun actually had an ad. This is the inside front cover, a full color ad. There's some great graphics all the way through it. I'll show the ad on the back. They've got the Cal Can chunky dinners for finicky cats and chunky dinners for dogs. So you got a full page ad of the Cal Can showing the cans of food plus the dog and the cat. Now the cover, particularly on the back, there's a couple condition issues. So that dog and cat ad, there's a couple of small tears on the edges. So, you know, be aware of that. There are great photographs going through it. Check out this. This was an ad to purchase authentic reproduction posters. So this is back in the 70s. And you've got all of these small little art pieces. Like, this is really fun as an individual, you know, memento. But because of the condition, particularly this piece, I marked the page, someone cut out a picture. And I don't know what they cut out, but there is an actual hole in the page where they were cutting out something for use, you know, in a scrapbook or whatever. So the fact that this has already been cut makes it a perfect, you know, option for junk journaling, because some of the other pages, there's just some great individual graphics, some great larger, you know, pages from the program itself. And there were a couple, you know, full, I guess it wasn't quite full page, but you've got the, you know, the gymnastics that we're taking there. But oh, there it is. Sorry, trigger warning. A full page ad or full page of the clown car with all of the clowns. So in your night terrors, there you go. So because of the condition issues, it doesn't go for what it would normally go for. So again, this is the 1975, although it says the Bicentennial Edition, it's the 1975 copyrighted program book, and it is available for $10. So $10 for the Barnum and Bailey 75 program book, $10 by giving me number 90. $10, number 90 for the Circus book.
Fabulous, Patrick. Great graphics there. Now, thank you, Vinny, for letting me know. Apparently, I didn't give a number on my last item. I don't know what I was doing. But if you would like the Bing Crosby 1935 Red Sails and the Sunset book, the sheet music, it is going to be $5, and it's number 16. $5, number 16 for the Bing Crosby Red Sails and the Sunset. Okay, moving on to my next item. Now, this is fun. I've showcased this before on my channel. I love Dolly and Danny Does It. The graphics on these guys are just so spectacular. They are so fun. And these are little dish sponges. Now, these would have been from the 40s and 50s. If it had the Good House seal, Good Housekeeping seal of approval on the bottom, I believe that's late 30s, early 40s. And then when you get into this graphic without the little Good Housekeeping seal of approval, it's late 40s, early 50s. My grandmother remembers these. They were in the grocery store, and you had the Dolly and Danny Does It with the different scouring strengths. So she's got the copper hair, kind of goldy copper hair, and the Danny would have the silver. Now, they are reproducing these on eBay. There's a gentleman that's doing it. He's redoing particularly the Dannies, but the boxes are so different from the original, and the coloring and the styling, that I know I've got a true original here. So this is just so cool. It's got the golden Dolly Does It, metal dishcloth, cleans, scours, and polishes, china, glassware, and aluminum. So perfect for you, Nate, because it cleans and polishes. Safe and sanitary and will not injure hands. Now, this is not sold in stores, so I don't know where you would have gotten these. I'm assuming a magazine, since they mentioned the Good House keeping seal of approval for some of these. And there was an issue, a letter that came out from Dolly Does It, which I actually have in my ephemeral, announcing that during parts of the war they had stopped making Dolly Does It because they needed the factories to go to the war effort. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, this is the Springfield Wire and Tinsel Company. That's what's marked on the top. So I love the little advertisement for the company that made the actual tinsel inside of the scouring piece. And it's still there. Now, there is some wear to this. As you can see, because of its age, there are some condition issues to the box. There's some wear here. The box is open. The hair is still all intact, though, on the sponge. And this cellophane is not coming loose, which you typically see with these. So even though it's got some serious kind of condition issues, it goes along really well with like your vintage industrial, your rusty crusty. And the fact that it still has the cellophane is pretty unique for this piece, because you don't find them with this cellophane in very often. So anyway, this is just a fabulous piece from the late 40s, early 50s. Dolly Does It. Love, love, love the graphics on her. She is just spectacular. And you can have the Dolly Does It for only $10. $10 for the Dolly Does It by giving me number 3. $10, number 3 for the Dolly Does It. All right, we are back to Patrick.
So I am at my last item for the evening, and I started out my my portion of the sale with recipe books and cookbooks, and I'm going to finish with cookbooks. So this is another set of vintage cookbooks that I have from 1960s and 1970s, and these are all holiday themed. So first I've got a KCFM 97 Hit Parade coming out of Missouri, copyrighted 1979. So you've got Christmas at Our House cookbook. You got black and white illustrations. It was issued by Home Federal Savings. And inside you've got basically it's like one recipe to a page. And then some of them have these little illustrations off to the side. So that's the center one. Pennington plum pudding. I'm assuming that's plum pudding. I don't know if I would recognize plum pudding. So you've got another illustration. Let's see. Chicken liver pate. Knock yourself out. Oh, that's the one I showed before. That's the one that's in the middle. Swedish nut braid. Got a great little illustration of Christmas tree. So I've been contacted by a couple people. I've been putting some, I'd gotten a damaged book, one of those like the church type books that were bound together. I'd gotten a damaged one where the covers had been ripped out and the binding had fallen out. So I've been throwing loose pages into some mystery boxes, just kind of throw fun stuff in. And somebody actually contacted me and said, I love these little illustrations, and I'm building a collection of recipes that have illustrations. Like, oh, what a fun little specific collection to build up. So this is all black and white. It's got some great illustrations. It's all great condition, just all folded there. Then we've got Morningstar Farms. This was also from the 70s. This is cholesterol-free holiday recipes. This was copyrighted in 1977, which I didn't realize we were doing cholesterol-free stuff in the 70s. I don't remember that. So you've got this great red and white cookie displays. This has quite a few more illustrations on the inside, and these are going into 2-color. So these are a little bit more, there's a little bit more to go into if you're cutting them apart or framing them, using them as Christmas decor. You've got a lot of that. And then my personal favorite is actually copyrighted in 1960. This one is the Holiday Smorgasbord, and it was issued by Bloomfield's Marble Shop. Wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It's copyrighted in 1960. And just look at some of the, so you've got the illustration of kind of this Swedish, I don't even know if that was rose mailing, but done as illustration form. And then you've got that same kind of design that repeats along with the photographs of the food. And some of the photographs, so these are all black and white, but I believe there are some color on the inside. Check out the illustration of the fish. So you got, again, this is 1960, and I guess the inside does not actually have colors, but you can make your own fruit cake. So if you hate anybody, make them a fruit cake. Swedish spritz, you got all the cookies, illustrations throughout all of these. This will actually be making an appearance. I'm doing a challenge on Instagram for Merle's Vintage Challenge. One of the challenges coming up is olives. And I couldn't think of what to take a picture of, and I saw these. I'm like, oh, look, there's olives. So that'll be in my Instagram feed in the next couple of days. So you get all 3 of the Christmas books from 1960, 1977, and 1979. You get all 3 of the cookbooks for $6. So $6 for the Christmas vintage cookbooks, $6 by giving me number 21.
Those are great, Patrick. And I love the little olive graphics because I'm a big fan of all things olive. So I always got to have olives in my pantry. And my last item I have for you guys tonight is just a fun little Halloween thing. I thought this was so beautiful. I actually really like lusterware, and this is the nice kind of peach, orangey luster. And I just think that this plate is so perfect for Halloween because you've got the black and kind of this orangey, peachy luster. This is just a really great piece. It's made in Japan, so it's definitely an older piece. And I love the way they've done the little piercings and these tiny little handles. I thought that this would be a nice size plate for your Halloween treat. So if you're going to bake up some cookies, or you're going to do some of those like mummy sausages that, we all had growing up that parents made, that would be great for this to serve your little treats on at your Halloween party. It's 9.5 inches wide. So this is a really nice size lusterware piece. Now, there is a little bit of manufacturer flaw here. I do want to point that out. This is just in the glaze. So they obviously, when they did this, they kind of glazed over that line a little bit. And then on the back, they did the same thing where a little bit of the glaze kind of went over the handle. So there wasn't a very good quality control, but it's still a beautiful piece for your treats, the backdrop for a Halloween display. And the cool thing about this plate is usually you find these luster pieces with bridges and other motifs. This one does not have the bridges. It actually has a little windmill. So I just thought that was so cool. It's kind of an unusual design, beautiful plate, great for fall, great for Halloween, and great for your treats. So you can have this little lusterware plate for only $8. $8 by giving me number 7 with the older made in Japan mark. Beautiful little plate.
All right. Well, I pretty much showed everything. Well, I showed everything that I had. I did have a couple things that didn't sell, so I'll just show really quick for people that might have come in late, missed. So I had the welcome plaque from Louisville Stoneware. That was the $10. That was number 63. And to be perfectly honest, I was a little surprised that this little thing didn't sell. This was the little vintage sewing clam for $10. 41 for $10 for the little sewing piece. And then the reward of merit also had not sold. So I still have the 1880s, the antique reward of merit, number 37, that was $7. So if anyone wants to add any of those were still available. But otherwise, thank you so much, Katie, for having me on the channel again tonight.
Absolutely, Patrick. And I've got a few things still available. Again, if you're joining late, I have the Rook card game from 1978. It was $8. It's got the fun little crow graphic with the original price tag, which is just fun. $8, number 2 for the Rook playing cards. I also have the Fitz and Floyd Chef Pig. Do be aware that he had a little damage to his foot, and I usually don't like to carry damage, but this guy was so cute I couldn't leave him behind. So he was $13 for number 15. $13, number 15 for the Fitz and Floyd Chef Pig. And then we've got the Dolly Does It. $10, number 3 for the Dolly Does It. $10, number 3. So that is all that I have, folks, tonight. And I see Jan Goodwin is picking up your number 37, Patrick.
Yeah, that was the rewards of merit. So thanks, Jan. Glad that's going to go to a good home. Yes, I do have your information, Jan.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for joining tonight. Make sure you do send us an email. I will be working on invoices over the weekend, so stay tuned for an invoice. You'll probably get that around Sunday evening. And Patrick, when will you be doing invoices? I know you're on the road.
I will try to get the invoices out. I will be home Thursday night, and I will try and get things out Friday or Saturday before I leave again. So I will do my best. Particularly if anyone's waiting for a gift, let me know. So I do apologize if they don't get out right away. I'll do my best. And next week I will not have a sale at all because I know I'm going to be traveling. So we probably should talk about what's coming up, because Sunday I will be traveling, but I am hosting because I will be in a location, yet another hotel. But I will be in a location that I can host Tales from the Triptych. So I am doing the next Tales from the Triptych on my channel, and that will be a cover. We will be covering World's Fairs, talking about the history of World's Fairs, where they were held, and then also talking about the collectability of items from the World's Fairs. So that will all be on the Sunday Tales from the Triptych. But next Wednesday for the duo dive, it's questionable whether I'm going to be able to participate. So that will definitely be on Katie's channel, and I will join in if I can.
Fantastic. And then tomorrow, since Patrick is not having his sale, I'm doing something fun on my channel. So come back at 8 p.m. tomorrow. I'm doing a double chapter of our book that we've been reading, House of Flash. And it is getting very saucy, folks. Our main character is in jail for potential murder, and there's been some wife swapping and all kinds of interesting things from this book from the 50s. So if you want to know what's been happening in that book, come back tomorrow for a live reading of 2 chapters at 8 p.m. tomorrow on my channel. So we'll be figuring out what's happening next. And again, for Tales from the Triptych, at 8 p.m. on Patrick's channel on World's Fair. So that's going to be lots of fun. So that is going to do it for us tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. And I hope, as always, that you will stay in, stay safe, and bend YouTube. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.